Hello all, welcome to another session in this course. As part of this session, I'm going to cover the next topic, that is where versus let keywords in JavaScript. Where, let, and another keyword is also there, that is const. This kind of keywords can be used in JavaScript to declare the variables. In JavaScript, if you want to declare the variables, there are three keywords. One of them is where keyword, like where a is equal to 5 you can do, or you can say let b is equal to 10 you can do, or you can go with const c is equal to 15 also you can go. Okay. Either where keyword or let keyword or const keyword can be used for declaring the variables in JavaScript. This is one thing. Now, it is not recommended to use where keyword. Okay. Whenever you get a requirement where you have to declare a variable, okay, in the latest versions of JavaScript these days, people are not using. Okay, we are not using where keyword. Okay, in JavaScript we are not using where keyword anymore. We are sticking to let and const. Okay, if the variable value need to keep changing, then should be changeable. Then we have to declare the variable with let keyword. And if you want to assign a value and that value should not be updatable for this particular variable, you have to declare that variable with const. Either let or const according to your requirement. You have to use in the JavaScript language, but not where. But why we are learning here, why we have to learn or know about where? Because the questions may come in the interviews, guys. Okay, since there is nothing much, okay, so people will ask you like they just want to check out, do you know the difference between where and okay, where versus let. Anyhow, we are not going to use where keyword in real time when you are writing the code with the help of JavaScript language. We are going to stick to either let or const depending on our requirement. But as part of the interviews, okay, they'll ask you what's the difference between where and let, and they'll try to find out whether at least you know why you are not using where. Okay, though where is not recommended to use in JavaScript programming these days, but why it is not recommended, why we have to go for let over where, we should know. It's our duty to know, right? That's what they expect in the interview. So with that note, let me cover this session where I'm going to explain where versus let. Okay, here I'll write where, here I'll write let. Where is a function scoped. Function scoped. The scope of this variable is function scope, but not block scoped. Okay. Where is function scoped but not block scoped? Okay. It's function level scoping will be there. What about let? Let is block scoped. Okay. Block means function also automatically will come into block. So block scoped. So it's where is function scoped but not block scoped. Okay. So what do you mean by what do I mean by function scoped and block scoped? Not block scoped means, for example, if I am creating this block like this. Okay. Is this block a function block? This if circular brackets and curly brace is a function block? No, this is a normal block. Okay. But here if you say where a is equal to 5, okay, outside this block also, outside this block also you can access console.log of a, you can access this. Okay, because this variable a which is declared with the where keyword is not block scoped. Hence you can access it here. You can access the variable a here even though it is outside. The scope of the variable is not up to this block. It's not local to this block. But if I create a function abc like this, if I create, and inside the function if I create something like where a is equal to 5, and here if I write console dot log of a, here it's not going to work. In this case it's not going to work, guys, because it's function scoped. The scope of this particular variable is local to the function, starting from the starting point of the function to ending of the function. Outside the function you cannot access. But here, if block, there is no restriction for the variable, the scope will not be there. Okay, the scope is not restricted for this particular variable to this block, because where keyword is not block scope but function scope. Because of this, you will get error here, undefined kind of error or whatever the error you will get. But here, you will not get the error. Okay, because it is not block scoped but function scoped. Okay, but coming to the let keyword, it is block scoped and also function scoped. That means whether you declare a variable whether you declare a variable like this, whether you declare a variable with let keyword let a is equal to 5 inside a block and try to access here console.log of a, will not be able to access. This is not possible. Okay, this is not possible. You cannot access a variable which is declared inside a block. With the let keyword, if it is declared, you cannot access. But with where keyword, you can access. But with let keyword, you cannot access because let is block scoped. And also function scoped also at the same time. If you write function here and and if you simply write let a is equal to 5 here also, you cannot access. In both the cases, you cannot access. Outside the block or outside the function, you cannot access this particular variable even though it is declared within the function or block, you cannot access them because let is block scoped and function scoped, but where is only function scoped but not block scoped. That's the difference. So people want proper scoping mechanism. Okay, whenever people are writing the code using JavaScript and all, right, okay, they want to follow a proper scoping mechanism, so they prefer to use let. Okay, and it's recommended to use let because it is block scope, not only function scope but also block scope. Any particular variable which is declared whether inside a function or a block like this in JavaScript, the scope should be limited to that block only. Okay, not outside the block, you should not be able to access. So what will happen if you use this where keyword, which is function scoped but not block scoped? What is the problem with the where keyword when you use with the this block? you you will understand right now. Okay, this particular variable will interact with the global variables and all those stuff. Okay, so outside the block also you can create the same variable, and if you declare the same variable again, you will get the problems. Okay, that's the problem. I'll show you what exactly I mean. So here, Visual Studio Code, I'll go and show you what is the actual issue with the where keyword. Okay, so since it is not block scoped, since the where keyword is not block scoped, if I create this and write down var demo.js, if I write, and here let me create a block. If so, here I'll write down uh, var a is equal to 5, and here I'll create a block like this. For example, a is greater than 3. Okay, then I'll write a is equal to 2. If I write like this, for example, okay. Uh, I declare this variable here and write down here where a is equal to 5, and I'll give some other thing. For example, here let's say uh, let a is equal or else I'll give something. Okay, where a is equal to 5 and 10 is greater than 2. Can I write like this? Yes, 10 is greater than 2. Then where is equal to, and here if I write console.log of a, if I write, what will happen? Here, this particular variable is not block scoped. Where is not block scoped. Hence, it is not the scope of this particular variable is not restricted to this particular block. So what will happen here? Here a will be printed as 2. Instead of 5, a will be printed as 2. What if I write let here and here let here? What is happening? Okay, in this case it is block scoped. Okay, in case of let keyword it is block scoped. So let's run this. Let's run this and see what is the output we are going to get here. Space node space var hyphen demo.js. 5 is only coming because it is block scoped. Variable a is 2 only within this block. Outside the block a is 5 still. But if I use var, there's a problem. You see, if I use var, this a will be printed as 2 here. That's a problem. You see, 2 got printed. Hope you understood the problem, right? Okay. The local variables should not interfere with the outside variables. Okay. Block outside variables should not interfere with the variables which are created inside the scope. Okay. The scope of this variable should be restricted to this block in real time in your program. So it's better to put let instead of var here. Okay. That's why var keyword is not recommended. The other difference between the var and let keyword is you can double declare. You can declare more than one time. Okay. Declare multiple times. Multiple times you can declare. But here guys, what about here? Can declare only once. Using let keyword, you can declare a variable only once. Let me show you here the same thing. For example, here if I come here and if I remove all this stuff and if I write let a is equal to 5 is there, again let a is equal to 10 means I'm going to get an error. You cannot declare it twice. But if I use var keyword, I can declare any number of times. You see, I can declare the variable, same variable any number of times with var keyword. But with let, that is not allowed. You see, with let, that is not allowed. Okay, these are few things. And we have here some notes, guys. Okay, from notes we can learn more. whatever I covered so far is a very important thing, guys. Okay, apart from that, there is other stuff that you need to understand at a high level, not depth, but at a high level, if you understand, that's more than enough. At least if you can answer this question in the interviews, that what is the difference between var and let. Var is a function scope but not block scope, but let is both function and block scope, then it's fine. Okay, it's better to be block scope. Okay, block scope and function scope should be there. Okay, in real programming, so people will choose let over the var. Okay, var is not recommended over let. And the next thing that you need to understand is allowed in same scope, not allowed in redeclaration outside, not allowed, right? Redeclaration is not allowed in the same scope. Okay, that we have seen that. Okay, just now I showed you, right? You cannot declare in the same scope multiple times. Okay, then global object binding. If you are using this JavaScript language along with the HTML, CSS and all, if you create a website page and uh, use this var keyword to declare the variables and attach that particular variable declared with the var keyword with the window, that will attach it to the windows in the browsers. Okay, this is a problem. It should not get attached, but it will get attached. Okay, so people recommend to use let because let keyword doesn't attach to the browsers. Okay, so here where is function scope but not block scope, let is block and function scope. Just now I showed you redeclaration. Here you'll not get any error, but let keyword you'll get the syntax error. And then here yeah, you see this where keyword will get attached to the window like this, but let keyword will not get attached to the window. So people recommend to use let over the where because let doesn't belong attached to the window. Okay, when you use with browsers. Okay, if you open the HTML code and CSS code, and in that HTML CSS code, if you also add JavaScript code like this where keyword will get attached to the window, browser window, whereas this will not get attached. Okay, when you are dealing with multiple windows and all, this will be a problem. Okay. Next thing is using let or const is recommended over var in modern JavaScript. When someone is writing the JavaScript, right, it's recommended to use let or const over var. Depending on your requirement, you have to either choose let or const, but not var. Okay, so var is there, but understanding why it is not recommended is enough. You don't have to use in real programming. Okay, let because let provides scoping rules. Okay, let is block scoped and function scoped, but var is not like that. So it will reduce the bugs and unexpected behavior of using var because it's not block scoped properly. A lot of bugs and unexpected behavior will come when you write the code with JavaScript. That's the reason let is recommended over var. Okay, let or const are recommended over var. So hope guys you understood the difference between var and let keywords in JavaScript in this session. So that's all for this session. Thank you. Bye bye.